Hey everybody, welcome back. Appreciate you joining in. As always, say continue to subscribe, continue to like and share the page as much as you can. Definitely helps me out on that end, on that aspect. But as always, welcome to the new year. Welcome to year 2022. I hope you all had a great New Year's and a great Christmas. I know my last video was at the end of November. Pretty much took a little Christmas break there, just to enjoy time with family, things like that. Not really focus on too much on videos and stocks and too much like that. As I always tell you all, take some time to enjoy yourself. Definitely make good investments. That way you're not always checking your portfolio, every single week or every single day. It's more of a, hey, I can let it sit there. I don't have to worry about it. If you have a 9 to 5, you can focus on your 9 to 5 or whatever, you have family, things like that. You're not always, looking at the stock, looking at tickers, seeing them going up or down, because sometimes that can drive you a little crazy. I know a lot of my followers, sometimes they get burnt out, and that's why I explain to them, like, hey, no need to trade and invest, daily. Get in something, do some research on a couple of companies, choose about 5, anywhere between 1 to 5, tickers that you like, or stocks, I should say, that you like. Invest in those, put your money in that, and just let it sit. Whether it goes up or down, don't pay any attention. Have your mind set to, the price target that you want. Once you get to that price target, that way you can get out. Because eventually, these stocks, like I said, they always go up and down, up and down. Just make sure you set a reasonable price target and set your money in there. That way you're not always having to look at it every single day. But for the new year, for the new banger, I wanted to talk about, as I talked about last year, earlier in the year, I explained to you all that Ford was going to double, right? It doubled. Ford went from like 10 to 11. Right now it's around $24. And for me, a lot of people wonder, hey, well, is it going to double again? Is it going to double again? Yes, I'm telling you all right now. I feel by the end of this year, it's around $23 right now. You can easily get up to $40, $46, between the $40 and $50 range, easily, just based on what they're doing. Some of the stuff that they're in, like I said, their EV sector is amazing. They're trying to catch up to Tesla. They're trying to, become the #1 when it comes to EVs and things like that. So that's something that they're going to focus on. They're going to drive. They're going to put all the chips in and try to get it to that point. And I believe they can, achieve that type of success as long as they stay on the path that they're doing. Ford is just, like I always tell people, it's a great company. It already has the, the legacy behind it as far as, American built, American made. It already has all that stuff around it. Once you couple that, with what they're doing in EVs and things like that, and what they're doing as far as trying to, protect the environment, things of that nature, it has no choice but to keep going up. And that's why I said that's something that I was highly invested in when it was, it dropped as low as $5 to $6 back when Corona first hit in 2020. But last year, things like that, I was explaining to people, this is one of the best stocks that I like, that I'm interested in, because it was cheap. It was around $11, $12 at the time, and I knew it had no choice but to double. Even though it hasn't been at that price before, right? I knew, just based off of its competitors. If you look at GM is a $50, $60 stock right now, and it doesn't make sense to me why GM, just like I said in the last video about Ford, it doesn't make sense why GM is, worth so much, but Ford isn't. So that gap has to close. And I see, even like I said, even if Ford was to double today, it'd still be $20 less than GM, right? So that's how I look at it. That's how I play that. Ford is one of the easier tickers for me right now, especially in 2022. It's one of the easier tickers I would say to play, because it's going to go up. Of course, it's like a roller coaster, just like any other stock. So it's going to have its ups and downs. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. It's going to go up. It's going to go down. But overall, as you see throughout the year, it's going to, continue its path up versus going down. So that's one of the stocks I wanted you all to focus on. I definitely wanted to talk about that into this new year, because that's one of the stocks that I think, it's just an easy money type of stock. And, you're trying to pick between 1 to 5 stocks that you want to, go ahead and get deep into and go ahead and start investing into a lot. I would say for me, that would be one of the stocks that I would choose if it's going to be between one of those 5 stocks, because it has already great potential and it's already achieving things that, a lot of stocks haven't achieved in the past year. And it's only going to grow. The EV industry is only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, especially throughout this year and next year. It's going to continue to grow. So anything with EV behind it, when I say EV, I mean electric vehicles. Anything with the electric vehicle ticker or sign, or anything that it can impact that type of industry, is going to rise throughout this year, next year, and continue on throughout the next years, because that's one of those industries that's evolving, right? Of course, the auto industry's already been here, but they're just now starting to dig their nails into it. So as long as they're digging their nails into it, as long as people are trying to transition to that, you're going to see that grow. I don't see that plateauing for the next at least 7 to 10 years. I don't see the EV industry plateauing at all because, like I said, it's just getting started. And when things first just get started, people got to figure out how to value it. People don't really know how to value these type of stocks or how to value the impact on EV, what it would have on these type of auto industry stocks. But as we go on throughout the years, we'll see things will eventually plateau. But until then, you're going to see that that gradual rise going up, 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 and up. And why not just get on and join the ride? Like I tell people, definitely join the ride because those are the type of stocks that is easy money. So that's what I wanted to really focus on. Forward. I wanted to drill that to you all this year because this year, like I've been talking about last year, I've already saw the bear market coming up. It's still, as we're battling back and forth. Short term, we're still battling back and forth. But eventually, the market is going to eventually go down some. You're going to have that day or that week that you see the market just drop 300-400 points because the way things are right now, things are so high in valuation that, like I said, we're in a new space. We don't really know how to value these things. So we're putting these high values on these things, but eventually we're going to come around to our senses when we realize certain things or certain industries are just not worth as much as they're supposed to be. They're going to start going down, which is going to bring, the majority of those stocks down. Even, sympathy play type stocks, they're going to come down just like if they go up. Say, Bitcoin, then you have those sympathy type of stocks that, follow Bitcoin. As Bitcoin goes up, these stocks go up. Same thing when they go down. As certain these stocks go down, the sympathy stocks around is going to go down as well. So just keep in mind into that. I know a lot of people are interested into NFTs and crypto. Personally, my personal opinion, I think those are good things. They're good investments, but at the same time, I wouldn't pour my money into them, right? If I have a portfolio, let's say you got 100% of your portfolio, I will only put maybe 5% max of my portfolio in a crypto or NFT style stock or any crypto coins or anything like that, because the way those things are, they fluctuate so much, you don't really know where they're going. Ultimately, my opinion is they're going to eventually get accepted. Not all of them, of course, not all of them, but the big name ones, right? So Bitcoin is going to eventually be universally accepted. That's my personal opinion. Too many people are investing to it now. Too many people with money are investing to it now for it just to crash. And then the same thing with Ethereum. That type of, cryptocurrency is going to, continue to grow. I don't see that going anywhere. But then your other cryptocurrencies, when I'm referring to other, I mean like the meme cryptocurrencies. Those are the ones that if you have money into those, be worried because those could, once things start being regulated, once things start getting approved, those could be the ones that fall by the wayside because people don't see as much value in them or people don't trust them as much. And if they're not trusted by governments and they're not accepted by certain people, then they're not going to be, they're not going to be successful. So just keep your mind into that if you're investing in these type of cryptocurrencies. And like I said, even with NFTs, just keep your mind into that. Definitely good place, like I said, to get in and out. Definitely not an investment. It's more of a trade type of style play. But just keep your mind on that. That way you're not caught into it when, things come crashing down. Because eventually, regulations is going to come around these things. Like I said, they're going to regulate it. They're going to decide which ones they want to keep and which ones they don't want to keep. And you don't want to be on the end that they, the ones that they're getting rid of. You don't want to have those in your pocket because that's when you start losing money more and more and more. I know right now it's definitely been a dip in the cryptocurrency world. Bitcoin topped out at like 68. Now it's down in the 40,000s. Personally, I see it, maybe going down a little bit more, but crypto is funny. Once it drops, it bounces. The crypto is kind of easily to predict versus stocks because when crypto drops, it drops, right? You're going to have that big month and a half of it dropping, but eventually it's going to bounce. So you just want to try to get as low as you can. If you get in and it drops another 30, 40, $50, then, for me, I try to, reinvest, not put too much in the beginning. That way, if it does drop, I still got some gunpowder left to go buy some more. So just keep that in mind, especially throughout this year, because, as last year in 2020, crypto NFTs have been, just topic of discussion when it comes to the stock world. But definitely be cautious of that because as you can see, a lot of people have been scammed behind that. And that's something that I would say you don't want to play with your life investment with, right? You don't want to play with something that could potentially be a scam. So it's better just to, focus on things that are, have been around for a long time. And for me, that's the stock market. Stock market's been around for a long time. Not really too concerned. I can do research on certain stocks and, I can look and see if this company is legit or not. So just make sure you do your research before you decide what you want to get into. That way you're avoiding losing money, especially this year. This year, I would say it's more of, you're going to learn something, right? So if you're a beginner investor, This year is going to teach you a lot more than you would have learned in 2020, even 2021, because the markets was trying to recover. Right now, the markets are still, in that type of mode where it's going up and down. But you're gonna have to be a lot more strategic. It's not gonna be, getting into a type of stock and it's just jumping up. Nope, you're gonna have to be a lot more strategic this year because the way the market is, it's already value high. So a lot of these stocks eventually gonna have to come down some. So just be smart when you're doing that. I see, definitely puts winning more this year versus calls when it comes into the option market. I know a lot of people was asking me about options and things like that. I would say I'll be more of a put player this year versus an actual call because, like I said, that market is going to eventually have to ease down. We still haven't got into a lot of things as far as a student federal loan. A lot of people have to start paying back their student loans. That's going to affect their income. It's going to affect their pockets. It's going to affect a lot of things in the stock market as far as people buying these things or retail or things like that. It's going to affect a lot of stuff. And not only that, you have other things coming, other things that might just, disappear because, Corona is no longer big of a threat as it once was, or it could go up, right? Things could rise. The variant can come out, and then that can also hurt the stock market because now we're going on a shutdown. Because as you all can see, across the world, Corona has just jumped, right? A lot of people are being more affected now. I think over the past, on the New Year weekend, it was 1 million people, I think it was reported, that was infected over the New Year weekend. Some of that due to the holiday delay. Some of the reporting was delayed. So it kind of added on to that, gave a little boost on how many people were infected. But either way, when you look at it, the previous record before that was half the price, right? Well, not half the price, but half the number, I should say. So it was like 500 or 509,000 people infected over the weekend. Now we doubled that, right? We doubled that record. One of the highest numbers we had since Corona started. It is the highest number we had since Corona started. So that causes for concern, especially if you're a stock investor. It definitely causes for concern because, as you all know, if we go into another lockdown, then you're going to see the stock market go down, down, down. And as you can see throughout news, they're trying to avoid that. They don't want to have another lockdown because they understand another lockdown means economy dropping again. They're going to have to do more stimulus, more money given out through the government. We're going more debt, things of that nature. So they're trying to avoid that as much as possible. That's why me personally, I'm not sure, this is true or not, but me personally, I believe, that's why they cut down on the actual amount of time that you need to be, isolated from 10 to 5 days. Now companies no longer have to pay you for those 10 days. They can only pay you for those 5 days that you're out due to that. So just keep that in mind when you look into that, because when rules like that start to change, that should start to tell you something. That should start to tell you we're probably possibly, I would say, 90% we probably won't shut down again ever. And like I said, the reason why is because it costs money. It costs too much money to shut down. We lose too much money. And then we have to start going into stimulus packages and things like that. And that's something that they're trying to avoid. Nobody really wants to shut down on either side of the party. When you're looking into politics, Republicans or Democrats really don't want to shut down again because they understand that's going to cause a lot of things to crash. So to avoid that, they're starting to come up with ways to, counteract that, and just be mindful of that, because that also affects your stock or even your crypto. Definitely plays a big role into how those prices are going to be, how they're going to fluctuate, and how volatile they're going to be throughout this year. So just keep that in mind throughout this entire year. Another thing I want you all to start doing some research on, which is some of the testing kits. As you know, the government is starting to pour money into companies that make these testing kits because they need them more readily available. So just keep your mind into that, because eventually you're going to see some company is going to get a contract from the government. As I was talking about with EVs and things like that, they're going to get a contract from the government for their actual testing kits. I think one company already just got one, but it's going to be many more companies because you need many more tests. So in order to make that available, government has to spend money. And once they start spending money, you're going to see those companies' stocks go up, and up. So just start doing your research on some companies that actually make testing kits, Corona testing kits, and see, do your research, see the likelihood of them actually getting a contract, how successful on them, look at their financials, look all into the company, look every little detail that you can into that company, and then make a decision whether you want to invest in that company or you think that's going to be the testing company that actually gets a contract in the future. So just definitely keep your mind on that. I didn't want to keep you all too long on this video. Like I said, Happy New Year. I'm glad we was able to bring in the new year 2022 together. Definitely have more episodes this year. Try to stay on top of it. But like I said, I took that little break just for, vacation, things like that. That way you all, as I always try to do, try to keep you all invested into these stocks, being more of a investor versus an actual trader. Because there's nothing wrong with being a trader. I trade all the time. But it's better off to invest because once that stock that you've been investing in for the past 6 months, 7 months eventually explodes, you're gonna be happy because you have a lot of those shares because you've been investing for the past 6 months. So just be mindful of that. As always, thank you all for joining. Thank you all for continuing to share and view. As always, drop a comment below if you have any questions. If not, you all have a blessed year. And I'll be back next week, next Sunday, as always. But like I always say, if not, have a blessed year and you have a great day. God bless.